everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to take you through a nice simple full body stretch. Nothing overly complicated. If you're a complete beginner to yoga, then you'll get on absolutely fine with this video. I'm going to talk you through everything as we go along. But yeah, we'll get a nice stretch for the whole body, so you should feel really nice after this. We're going to begin seated. Come down into a comfortable position with the legs crossed if that's comfortable for you. You can sit up onto a cushion or a blanket if that's a little bit nicer on your hips. If not, stretch out the legs, find something that feels comfortable. Lift up nice and tall, and we'll start with some sun breaths. So this is really simple movement. We take the arms out, spread the fingers wide, turn the palms to face up, reach the arms up overhead, take a breath in. Bring the palms together to touch, lift your gaze to look up at the thumbs if you can, and then exhale, bring the hands down through the center, lowering the chin to the chest. Again, we reach wide, inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Exhale, bringing the hands all the way down. Inhale, reaching out. Exhale down through the center. Keep that going with your breath, just starting to synchronize the movement with the breath. One more. And now just hold the hands in front of the chest in this prayer-like position that we call Anjali Mudra. Close your eyes, lift up a little taller. I'm going to take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and releasing out through the mouth. So let go of any tension, any stress that you might be holding on to. Long breath in through the nose. Release all that stress out. Make as much noise as you want. In through the nose. Exhale, release. And one more. Then open your eyes. Let the hands come down by your sides. We'll start to stretch into the sides of the body now. Bring one arm up. I'll start with my right. Inhale as you reach up. And then exhale. Keep that arm straight, but bring it up and over. Let the other elbow bend. Then we're going to inhale, coming back through the center, swapping the arms over. And exhale to the other side. Keep that going. Inhale as you reach up through the center. Exhale, stretching out the side of the body. Inhale through center. Exhale over to the side. Keep that going with your breath. Breathing in and out through the nose if you can. We'll go once more to each side, try and balance it out if you can remember which way you started. And then come back to the center. Nice. If you've got your legs crossed, swap the cross of the legs. You'll have one way that feels a bit wonky and a bit strange, so go to that side now. And we'll take a nice simple twist for the spine. Nice way to just decompress any tension in the back. So bring your right hand across to your left knee. Left hand swims around behind you and places down onto the ground. So fingertips on the ground. Inhale as you lift up a little taller. So find some more height. And then exhale to turn towards the left. Not using the hands to force your way into this twist, but just gently beginning to stretch out the back. We'll take a couple of breaths here. With each breath in, try and lift a little taller. Then gently release, come back to the center. We'll take that to the other side, so left hand across to the right knee. Right hand comes around and the fingertips come onto the ground behind you. Inhale, lift a little taller. Exhale, move into your twist. Turning to look to the right. One last breath, see if you can lift up a little bit more. And then release back to the centre. Nice. We'll just warm up the wrists a little bit before we come on to the hands and the knees. So interlace the fingers like this and gently roll the wrists around. So try and keep the elbows as still as you can and roll the wrists around in a figure of 8. Go in one direction that you'll probably find feels fairly normal, and then see if you can reverse it and go in the opposite direction. This one might feel wonky too. And then release the hands. Okay, then we'll come through to tabletop position, so onto the hands and the knees. Have a bit of space between your knees so they're under the hips, and bring your hands under your shoulders and spread out the fingers so that all parts of the hands, all parts of the palms rather, are pressing down into the mat. Then we'll start to move through cat and cow, two nice simple poses that get your spine nicely stretched out. So we begin by dropping the belly down. Let the tailbone lift up so that base of the spine lifts up towards the ceiling as the belly dips down. And then we reach the chest forwards and start to lift the head. Just looking forwards, but reaching forwards with the chin. Take a big breath into your belly. And then as you exhale, I'm going to reverse that curve in the spine so the tail tucks down, the back lifts up towards the ceiling, and the chin drops towards the chest. Then we repeat that movement, so let the belly drop down. Lift your gaze, reach your chest forwards, inhale. Exhale as you round the back, tuck the chin to the chest. Keep that going with your breath. Inhale as the belly drops, as the head lifts. Exhale as the back lifts up and the chin tucks to the chest. Do this a couple more times. Really trying to connect the mind and the body through the breath. So what I mean by that is by trying to synchronize the breath with your movement, it brings your mind into this present moment, keeps you focused, connects the mind and the body. Okay, then finish the cycle you're on and come back to a neutral spine, back to tabletop position. From here, bring your big toes together to touch. Take your knees just a little bit wider. Pick up your right hand and reach it up towards the ceiling, coming into a little open twist. Really actively reach up with the right fingertips. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, you're going to bring that right hand all the way down and thread it under the left arm. I'm going to turn around so you can see me a little better here. So it's going to reach all the way under, coming into thread the needle pose. All the way down so that your head and shoulder come onto the mat. So you're turning to look to the left, the right arm is down on the ground and the palm is facing up. Then press into the left hand just to lift that left shoulder a little bit more. So we get a twist into the upper back and a big stretch into the right shoulder. Maybe a bit of a stretch into the hips as well. Find your breath here and try and keep the neck long. So try not to let the shoulders come too close up towards the ears. One more breath. Then press into the left palm, slowly lifting all the way up, and bring that right hand all the way back up to your open twist. Take a breath in, reach up with the fingertips, and then exhale, let that hand come down. Nice. We'll take that to the other side. So lift up the left hand now. Inhale as you reach up to the sky, and then exhale, you're going to bring that left hand down, thread it under the right arm, reach all the way through, let the head and the shoulder come down to the mat. So this left hand now is resting on the ground with the palm facing up. Press down into the right palm, turning to look to your right. Find your breath here. And again, just make sure that the shoulders aren't tensing up towards the ears. One more breath. Then press down into the right palm and slowly lift this left hand all the way back up to the sky. Inhale, open up the chest. And exhale, bring that hand down. Nice. Then from here, we'll sit back into a child's pose. So sit the hips back towards the heels. Reach the hands a little further forwards. And let your forehead come down to rest on the mat. If you find that that's a bit of a stretch, if your head doesn't comfortably come all the way down to the mat, then you can just bring your hands down to the ground and rest your forehead on your hands, or you can even bring the hands into fists like this, stack the fists on top of each other, and your forehead can rest there. So find a version of this that's comfortable for you. Then close your eyes. And think about stretching out your back here. So reaching the tailbone, the base of the spine, towards the back of the mat. Really sitting back with the hips. And reaching the crown of the head, that flat bit on the top of the head, towards the front of the mat. So the spine is long, the back slightly curved. And we let the muscles of the face relax. Typical areas where we tend to hold tension in our body are the forehead, the muscles around the eyes, and the jaw. So try and soften in those areas. And just take another deep breath. And then we'll come back up to tabletop position. So bring the hands back under the shoulders, the knees back under the hips. From there we'll tuck the toes under and sit back towards the heels. So this is a big stretch for the feet. See if you can get all 10 toes tucked underneath, even those little toes on the end. Now this one can be quite tough if you're new to this one, so if you're really feeling it, just lean forwards a little bit, take some of that pressure out of the feet. Of course, if anything ever feels painful, then make sure that you do come out. You need to be kind to your body and be careful with it. But if it's just a discomfort, if it's just an uncomfortable feeling, see if you can sit with it and just deepen your breath. A small part of yoga, or some people might argue that it's a big part, is learning to sit with discomfort, to breathe through it, and to find a softness and ease as we sit with discomfort. So try not to tense up the jaw or clench the fists or anything else. You don't need to do that. Let everything be soft and just go deep with the breath if you're really feeling this. You might let the breath out through the mouth. One more breath, come on. And then come forwards onto the hands again. Ooh, release the toes, you can give them a little wiggle around, maybe roll the ankles. And then it's time for downward facing dog. So bring the hands out to at least shoulder width apart towards the front of the mat. Take them a little further forwards than you had them in tabletop position. We're going to tuck the toes again, press into the palms and send the sit bones, send the tailbone up towards the sky. So lifting the hips up and reaching them towards the back of the mat. We want to find a long line through the spine. Didn't mean to be a poet there, but reach that tailbone up. And as we did in child's pose, think about length in the back, reaching the crown of the head down towards the ground, reaching the tailbone up to the sky. So we find this kind of inverted V shape. Keep a little bend in the knees to begin with and just focus on that stretch through the back. Really lifting up out of the shoulders. So rather than collapsing into the shoulders like this, we press into the palms and find a little more length. Then you can pedal the feet, so you can reach one heel down to the mat as the opposite knee bends, and then swap over. Doesn't matter if the heels don't come to the ground, that's fine. That might come with time, it might not ever come, it depends on your ankles, on your calves, on all kinds of factors, and all of our bodies are different. So just focus on the sensations, on how it feels rather than how it looks. We'll take a couple more breaths here, make sure you are still comfortably breathing. Then we're going to step into a lunge. We're going to step the right foot forwards. If you can, big step up towards the hands and then lower the back knee down. If that is not going to happen today, then just lower down onto both knees and bring that right foot forwards. Either way, we're going to end up in this lunge position with the right foot at the front of the mat and with the right knee stacked over the right heel. Lift up onto the fingertips and tuck the back toes. Just lift up that back knee and shuffle it just a little bit further back. So we want to feel a good stretch into the hips here. Press down into the right foot and bring the hands up onto the right thigh. Back toes can either be tucked under or flat. Then press into that front foot, lifting the chest. Try and let the shoulders relax. And reach the front knee a little further forwards. So you go a little deeper into the hips. You have the option here, if you're a little further along in your practice, to send the arms up towards the sky. But if that doesn't feel good, if it puts any strain or pressure through the hip or through the back knee, then just keep those hands on the thigh. Again, don't worry about what it looks like, just go how it feels. 2 more breaths here. Then we'll bring the hands down, or we'll bring the left hand down to the mat. Turn to look to the right and reach the right hand up towards the ceiling. Trying not to let the right knee open out to the side. Keep that knee stacked over the heel. Reach up with the right hand. 1 more breath. As you exhale, let that hand come down to the mat. Nice. We'll go into the hamstrings now. So just walk the hands back a little bit. Pull the hips back and lift up the right toes. So right toes reach towards the face. You're going to straighten out this right leg as much as you can. It's okay to keep a little bend if you need to. Lift the chest, look forwards, take a breath in. And then exhale as you fold over that leg. Whew. I know I'm really feeling that today. If you're not feeling very much here, try pulling the right hip back a little bit, straighten out that leg a little bit more and lift the toes. 2 more breaths. Then slowly bring yourself forwards. Bring the hands down, tuck the back toes under. We're going to step through into a plank pose. So lift up the back knee and step through. If that's not going to happen, you can just come back onto the knees. If you are in a full plank, press back with the heels, reach your shoulders forwards, press firmly into the palms to lift up between the shoulders. Take a breath in. As you exhale, we're going to lower down to the ground. You can drop the knees first, then bend at the elbows nice and slowly, lowering with control, with as much control as you can manage. Then point your toes back, and with the hands under the shoulders, pull the elbows back towards the feet, shoulders shrug down away from the ears, and we inhale to lift up the chest. Exhale as you release. We'll do that 2 more times, coming into Cobra. Inhale, lifting the chest, pull the shoulders back. Exhale to lower. And once more. Now we'll go straight back up into downward facing dog. So tuck the toes, press into the palms, lift the hips up and back. Find a way that works for you, a transition that works for your body to get you back into downward facing dog. And we're here for 3 breaths. So again, you can pedal the feet. You might just shake out the head a little bit. Anything your body needs. This time stepping the left foot forward into your lunge. Either one big step through and then lowering the back knee, or coming down onto both knees and then bringing that left foot forward. We want to make sure the knee is stacked over the heel, and then that back knee we're going to shuffle just a little bit further back, so we go a bit deeper into the hips. Press into the front foot, bring the hands up onto the thigh, and again the back toes can either be tucked under or flat like this. Lift the chest. Try not to lean onto this front thigh. So lift your belly away from the thigh, lift your chest away from the thigh, and reach the left knee forwards. So rather than being up here, which will feel much nicer, we want to reach that knee forwards so we sink down into the hips. We get that big stretch through the right hip flexor. You have the option to send the arms up, otherwise keep the hands on the thigh. Whichever works best for you. We'll go for 2 more breaths here. Then bring that right hand down to the mat. Turn to your left and reach the left hand up to the sky. Reaching up with the fingertips, keeping the left knee stacked over the heel so it doesn't open out to the side. Take another breath in. And then exhale, bring that hand down. Coming into our lovely hamstring stretch. Walk the hands back just a little bit. Then pull the hips back, lift the left toes, straightening that left leg as much as you can. So this pose or this stretch is sometimes called half splits as well. So lift those left toes. Notice how it feels on this side. I know for me this side feels a lot tighter. Take a breath in as you lift the chest as you look forwards. And then exhale, folding over that leg. Oof. Nice deep breaths. If it does feel really tight, if it feels like a strong stretch, try and keep a little softness through the face, not clenching the jaw or frowning the forehead. Find a balance between softness and ease and strength. One more breath. And then slowly bring yourself forwards. You're going to come through to plank again. So tuck the back toes, lift up the back knee, slide that foot through. Just one breath in this time, press into the palms, reach back with the heels. Then exhale as you lower down to the ground. You can drop the knees first and then bend at the elbows. So the toes are pointing back. We're coming into Sphinx Pose this time. So look at where your hands are now, underneath the shoulders, and bring your elbows to that point. So your elbow goes there, the palm goes out in front, same on the other side. So elbows are stacked underneath the shoulders, palms are down on the mat, and the forearms are parallel. So there's a nice bit of space between them. Press down into the elbows to lift your chest, reach your heart forwards. Point back with the toes so the spine is long. Find your breath here. If this is a little too much for your back today, take your elbows a little wider and just come a bit lower down to the ground. Or you can just release and come down to rest if your back is really not up to this today. Do whatever is kindest for your body. If you are in Sphinx Pose, keep lifting the chest, pressing down into the elbows. You'll probably find, maybe without realising, that after a few breaths here, you start to do this. You kind of sink down, lower towards the ground. So keep actively pressing into the elbows, into the forearms. We'll just take a little movement with the neck. So turn to look towards your right, looking past the right shoulder. Big breath in, press into the elbows. Exhale as you come back to the centre. Turning to look to the left, press into the elbows, inhale. Exhale back to the centre. Once more to each side. Then take the elbows a little bit wider, gently release the upper body down to the mat and bring the hands back under the shoulders. Coming up to one last downward facing dog, so tuck the toes, press into the palms, peel your body up away from the mat and back into your downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Again, just find any movement that your body needs. Or if you're ready to just hold still, then reach up out of the shoulders, lift the hips, pull in from the lower belly. Your core is working here, and reach down with the heels. Then after those 3 breaths, gently release down to the knees and sit back onto the heels. Nice. We're going to come into a child's pose, but with a little variation. So you can take the knees a little bit wider if that feels more comfortable. Bring your hands behind your back and interlace the fingers with the palms nice and close together. Then pull your shoulders back and reach the knuckles down and away from the body. So really extending the knuckles, the hands out, away from you, reaching out of the shoulders. Breathe here. And you can either choose to stay here, or you can try coming into a version of child's pose, keeping the hands as they are. So still reaching back with the knuckles, you lower the belly down to the thighs, let the forehead come down to the mat, and reach the knuckles up towards the ceiling. Either staying there for 3 breaths and then releasing the arms, or staying lifted, sitting up on the heels. Or if this is not good for you, you can just come down into a restful version of child's pose. Whichever version you're in, you're just going to release the hands now and come to rest in child's pose. Either with the arms reaching forwards or with the arms just resting by your sides. Take 3 long breaths, closing the eyes and softening through the face. Then press down into the fronts of the feet. Lift yourself back up to a seated position. I'm going to come to lay on our backs now. So bring the legs around and lay down onto your back. As you come down, bring the knees into the chest. Just gently hug the knees in. Find a little rock from side to side if that feels nice on your back. Then keep the right knee drawn in towards the chest. Stretch out the left leg. Let it rest on the mat. Shuffle the shoulders down away from the ears. Let the shoulders relax. Hug this right knee in, find a little stretch into the hips. come into one final twist before we rest. So reach your right arm out by your side with the palm facing up. Use your left hand on the right knee to guide that knee across the body as you roll onto your left side. So the right shoulder stays down on the ground or as low to the ground as possible as you roll over onto your left side. Take 3 deep breaths here, close your eyes. Don't worry too much about getting this exactly right, just find a version of this twist that feels nice for your back. And slowly bring yourself back to the center. Bring both knees to the chest again. Reset, shuffle the shoulders down. Then keep the left knee in, stretch out the right leg. Take it to the other side. So the right foot rests onto the mat. Left knee hugs in towards the chest, but the shoulders relax. Then bring your left arm out by your side with the palm facing up. Use the right hand to guide that left knee across the body as you roll onto your right side. So take that twist the other way. Keeping the left shoulder down towards the ground. Close your eyes. Count 3 breaths. Gently release, coming back to the center. Hug both knees to the chest one last time. And again, shuffle those shoulders down away from the ears, create length in the back of the neck. And let your feet drop down to the mat. Let your arms rest by your sides with the palms facing up. And you can either keep the feet on the mat, the knees lifted, or you can stretch out the legs, bring the feet to hip distance apart and let the toes fall out to the sides. Find a comfortable position, ready to rest in Shavasana. This final and most precious pose, make sure you don't skip this part. Taking the time at the end of our practice to rest the body and to let all the work that we've just done sink in. Soften the forehead. Release the jaw by separating the top and bottom teeth. Let the shoulders grow heavy. Feel your whole body resting, being held and supported by the ground beneath you. Give yourself permission to let go. Let your breathing be easy and let your mind do whatever it's going to do. Thoughts will come in, that's only normal and natural. Just let them pass by. Try not to engage. If you do become distracted and your mind takes you somewhere else, just bring your focus back into your body and notice the steady rise and fall of the belly as you breathe. leave you there, resting in Shavasana. Stay here a little longer, just watching the breath, allowing the body to rest. I hope to see you again very soon. For now, I'll leave you with the word Namaste, which means the light and the life within me bows to the light and the life within you. Namaste.